It's right here. I just got finished, watching the final episode of Ruby, the final of Volume 9. And damn, like how time moved fast this quickly, and how I basically did, all the reviews for the other episodes and stuff like that. I mean, I don't know if I would call it reviews. They're basically my thoughts. But yeah, it just ended like that. It basically went the way I predicted, but with some minor twists and just ways where I'm just like, yeah, I guess that's alright. They make it low key in some ways. I thought it was going to be something shocking, but the lore that they put together, the connectings of just like when they jump to the gate, like it's just sort of ties everything into a perfect bow just automatically. And it almost feels like, yeah, I guess that's how it should be. But man, it just went by so quick. It was like that. You know what it felt like? It felt like if I was supposed to go to a family's wedding and then I end up into like, oh snap, I'm hungry. I know I need this family wedding is only like 6 hours away, but man, I gotta get some food out here. You know what I mean? Gotta get some lunch. And then I go to a burger shop, and that burger shop just all of a sudden leads to a portal of another dimension. And then I'm like, crap, where's my burger? Oh, great. Now I'm attacked by aliens and elves and then I'm, Vikings. I'm part of the Viking squad. And then, like, what am I doing? And it literally would take at 10 episodes just to get, or 10 years to get me out of there. Like, I'm going through tribes and tribulations. I'm a married man in a Viking family. I'm in the forest, I'm in the mountains, battling the elements. And then, by the time I say goodbye to everyone, it's an emotional moment. And then I basically all of a sudden wake up inside of that same burger place. And then realize, like, oh crap, I'm late for my wedding. Looks like I have to go. And that was just it. I just literally made up a whole entire story in my head that feels like would be a perfect concept for any kind of story that I would make. I'm putting that on the paper. But seriously though, that's kind of like what I mean when it comes down to this detour that they had in Ever After. And I never thought that this world in Ever After or in the place that they were in would almost be the result and kind of like the first basis, basically ground zero one of just like how Remnant was created, how Vacuum was created, how, the Atlas and all these different places that Team Ruby has been through. And it's crazy that all of this is all tied up or anything. Now, in no ways I'm not actually going to really come up a lore within my analogy of just like of a burger place and then, well, this burger place is the reason why this country was created. No, I'm not going to do that. But it's just, it's crazy how all the things are just tied up, just all of a sudden in a ways, but smoothly throughout this episode. Like, I don't know if they did that off the bat or anything, but man, it was something. And I kind of like, really want to go through my predictions or something like that, even though I basically, most of my predictions didn't really went true. Most of it didn't happen. Little didn't come with them um, to the other, through the portal, basically. Neo, I don't know if Neo died. I'm sorry. Did she or did she not? I guess she's repurposed. It's not death in that world. It's something else. I guess she ascended. There's a part of me where I wish there was some freaking payback. I'm sorry. There has to be some payback. I know that Neo, in some ways, is sort of a good person, but I bet there's some Neo fans like, no, please don't. Do not kill Neo. And even I'm like, there's times where I'm like, I kind of want to keep Neo. But I feel like Neo, she basically realized what she'd done. But there's this part of me where I feel like Ruby could have just. I bet there's a part of me where I'm thinking about Ruby, and Ruby's like, man, I could have just killed her. I could have just done something about it. And now she escapes. Like typical Neo, just escape. The final escape of Neo. And yeah, she's gone. Yeah, that's it. It's kind of crazy that, another character done and gone and pretty much an enemy and excuse me, and how it's just like just ended like that. especially how Torchwick was erased. And then we got to hear Alex's voice. I mean, freaking finally. I don't know why. There was a part of me where I thought Alex was going to be British. I don't know why. There was a part of me where I was like, like, okay, that works too. Like, she sounds like someone that's also part of Rwby in a sense, but I pretty much forgot who. But I was like, oh, okay, I guess that's her voice. Could have been anything fancy, nothing crazy. We didn't hear anything about Lewis's voice. No Lewis in there other than what he looks like. Also, in the beginning, seeing Summer Rose, and basically of like her purpose or her lying about just leaving her children or something like that. And can I just say, like, come on, I'm sorry, hold on, let me rewrite my names in a sense, because here I am trying to actually remember. Okay, at the same time, not to trigger my coughs, that's for sure. But I I wonder very well that Taeyong, is that his name? Basically, Ruby's dad. They, Taeyong could have kissed her. That could have been a moment of a romantic moment. I mean, come on. Where is the kiss? Where is the embracement? And that was the last time, like, seeing Summer Rose. The last time that, of that, reading that book to them from that flashback. And also, there's so much more that could have happened. I'm not saying this is a bad ending, a bad final episode. It was clear as day. It was almost like it was not rushed, but it was so smooth to the point where you don't realize it's rushed. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. But there was like so many predictions where like, oh, it could have gone this way, couldn't got that way. I wish we saw Team Juniper. That could have been cool. I mean, Juniper's in the Justice League collab, but that could have been cool seeing like Team Juniper. I thought when they went to Vacuo, I thought that whole storm thing was still going on, because of course they're in the desert, and we see this whole new world. Like, especially, listen, I saw the after credits, and man, Vacuo is going to be an interesting place. I already got some like red versus blue vibes. I don't know what it is like, but it gave me Mad Max levels or something like that, or some desert levels in some FPS of from seeing the outlet of just like what Vacuo looks like, or Vacuo City, or their base, or whatever it is. I'm looking forward for Volume 10 of what that will be. And also the cat, I guess the cat was scrambled by thanks to Neo. Neo's his minions, basically being the Jabberwockers. And also I guess, there was this part where I was so shocked when Ruby said, or it was either Yang, like Yang was like, oh, I guess that's the tree. And they're talking about the lady. In my head, I'm like, wait a minute, she's made out of branches or whatever. She's like the creator of all of this. So this whole time, like, of course, the brothers were the creators. And seeing the brothers again, I was like shocked. I was like, oh my gosh, it's the brothers. Oh my, I haven't seen them for so long since Salem was introduced. But at least that's in my memory. But man, seeing them again, I'm like, whoa. And was it true? Like, Remnant was definitely created by them. But it was all thanks to where they came from, being literally ever after, being the place that this whole entire episode was set in. And I call it Ever After because that's basically what it is. It's a much more authentic way, even though it's literally Wonderland or whatever you may call it. There's different names, and I call it by different names for sure. I either call it the Wonderland or the Ever After. Because this whole entire, the Rwby series, now looking back at it, it's full on, yes, Ever After, but in a different twist, in I guess an anime twist. Even though if it was true anime, authentically, everybody would be, speaking Japanese, and pretty much it would just be all like, there would just be random superheroes and just zombies coming in, and also like, fan service scenes and stuff, but it's not like that. I just love Rwby of just like where it came from and where it is now, and how it's climbing just the authenticity of just the quality of what it brings. Despite, how small the fandom is getting, it feels good to be part of this and be part of the conversation of Ruby, and that's what I carried. There were so many moments where I'm just like shocked. There's so many moments where I was just, man, that happened, this happened, and like what else? Like it just felt like it's all coming back, like all what I remember. And I feel like I could have recorded my reaction of just the entire episode as a whole, but I had my moments of just like, wow, that happened, this happened. And also there was moments where I'm like, of course that would happen. But with the amount of stuff that I had in my head of what to expect, I'm like, I guess this is it. This is sort of like the best goodbye. The same thing of the goodbye of like, I just realized they just said goodbye to only two people. Juniper being um Jean's pet, and also like Little. That was it. Just two. And I'm just like, that's it. I mean, all I can think about is like, oh, saying goodbye to the cat, but the cat is in a hole. Like, he's done. But it's like, man, I guess that's it for this whole entire little like I don't know what it is. It felt like a POV. It felt like there could have been more people, but I was shocked that it was like just them because of just the adventures they had. I mean, to be honest, what made this whole entire experience more fulfilling was actually just the people that reacted to the episodes, the community. It felt worth it. It felt like, the universe of Ruby was way bigger than anticipated. And I never got that from any other anime or any other animation in a while. I used to have that with Miraculous and Has Been, but it feels good to have something like Ruby. And it feels like right now that's the only one that I have for this because, I could easily see everyone's reactions of just like any other anime out there. Ruby felt like something that is totally worth it. And maybe it's because it's not like, anime, it's not Japanese sort of related as so like, kind of numb of just seeing anything like anime or something that is not from America, not something that is not really something basically that is Western, that is actually part of, different subcultures and stuff. That's why I got into Miraculous and Arcane because they're morely in the Western side when it comes down to animation and stuff like that. But it felt good for this one, for Ruby, and it felt like the old times, you know what I mean? Just the old times. I don't know how old I would be when Ruby Volume 10 will come out. I know they have to take their time and stuff like that. And you know what's crazy is that as I'm recording this is cough just sneaking up on me. Almost everyone that I actually seen noticed that, especially, see, there it is. Murder of Birds and Klaxon, they were coughing the whole time. They were trying to do their reactions and reviews. There's a little sickness going on out there, okay? I don't know what is happening. But since, Team Ruby is back, what's going on with the next episodes later on? Where are they going to using that information? The reason why I brought up that analogy of me going to a burger shop and going to another world for 10 years is because that it adds nothing to basically me going to the wedding. Will this add anything? Like, will this add, like, they were empty handed, they just were back to normal. They're back to where they are. It's like they didn't have Little with them. It was also kind of crazy that Ruby had the medallion back. I was kind of shocked to see that. I was also shocked to see that all of them combined doing the break, the slam on the cat on Neo. That was a good moment. My goodness. But yeah, I like they brain nothing. They came in there like, like, oh, Jean is back to normal. I was very worried of Jean being an old man coming back to Vacuo, but he's back to his normal self. There was like no proof of them actually being in Ever After, except that, maybe what they're saying, and also like the relationship. That was a highlight moment. The relationship of Weiss and sorry, not Weiss. I mean Weiss and Jean in a sense, the White Knight, but Bumblebee, like Blake and Yang together is something that really shown growth. And I've seen some more growth through these characters. I guess they carry something with them, which is what they have inside. Will that be forgotten? I bet it is. Let's just, it might happen for sure. They might forget, like, oh, Ever After? I never heard of that before. Never heard that place. Alex who? Stuff like that. It might happen. I guarantee you. But just everything is back to normal. Just like one of those tropes where it's like you wake up and you're like, oh, and it's like already almost like in 3 minutes before the ending credits. You know what I mean? It's like, well, nothing happened here. you know, and it's not that's not a bad thing. It's also clean and very precise and something to be expected. But I feel like they could have had something. They could have carried something, anything. They went empty-handed. No Little with them. Little's no Little no more. He's a big boy. Little's a big boy. And he's going to be, I guess, the newest hero. So Ever After is safe with that. And also another thing, guess what? It didn't went out in ashes. Weiss did not come back from that place with ashes. I think they were questioning that. Like, did we destroy this place? No, they didn't. It was still in one piece. Probably better when maybe some places were destroyed for sure. Let me tell you that. But at least you walk away from the tree in one piece. Like some happiness went through it. So that's a good thing about it. You know what I mean? I don't know. Some things changes. You can never know these days. But with all the episodes, with all the moments, the characters have grown and it really showcases like a coming of age in a sense, And it seems like their wiseness, hopefully they carry through that because let me tell you, they've been through some ish in Alice in Wonderland, okay, in the freaking Alice world. And there were some theories about like Alice in Madness, like the video games that was gonna play through this and some of the books and stuff. Me as a person that don't know much about Alice. If anything, I know most of like Shakespeare stuff more than Alice's stuff, so that's saying a lot. And it's like, something that I'm not really into, but this episode of Rwby kind of put it in a way. They could have used anything else, but they had this, which really makes sense because it matched within the whole entire fairy tale Ever After persona of the world of Rwby that it had over the years. But it's good that they still kept that. Monty's work never fails, and it's always good to be upon this entire show and the fandom for generations. And I'm looking forward to Volume 10. I mean, will this be it? I don't want to think of that, but that's going to be surreal if it is. Okay, I'm not ready for that. But I love Rwby, and I'm going to miss it. But yeah, this is it. This is the final episode. This is the final step. Any last words that I have? Nope. All I can tell you is this show was the shit. That's where I cuss. Yeah, I said it. It's dope. It's fresh. And I love it. Okay. What a good time. See you ever after. Probably never gonna miss you. But anyways, on to Vacchio. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you subscribe, like, comment, all that jazz. Check out my other reviews for Rwby Volume 9. And yeah, this is my first, but it's not my last series of, Rwby, of reviewing it. Anyways, one love and a peace.